Best player available, stick and pick. Is that the strategy the Vikings are going to have at the 12th overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft? We'll find out when the Minnesota Vikings are on the clock. Welcome to Minnesota Sports Talk. Make sure you click like and subscribe to help spread Minnesota Vikings content. I'm your host, David Shelsky. You can find me on Twitter at SkullWorld and at MN Sports Podcast. Let's talk about one of the players the Vikings can't pass up when it's their opportunity to turn that draft card in at pick number 12. Yes, I'm talking about safety Kyle Hamilton, a junior, coming out early for Notre Dame. He's 6'4", 220. He just turned 21 years old, so he's a youngin'. He ran the combine, NFL combine numbers say he ran a 4.59. In the 40, he had a 38-inch vertical. There's been some talk that at his pro day, he ran in the 4.7s. And someone said late 4.7s. So there's talk about how he may fall as far as 12 to the Vikings. Where can they pass him up? That's the big decision they'll have to make. Is at 12, is it worth staying where they're at? Or is it better to trade down and pick up more picks? And Kyle Hamilton is one of those players they say is generational that even was considered as high as second overall. There's talk about him dropping farther down to where he might be available at 12. Is this something the Vikings going to do? Well, let's talk about his strengths. He's a big safety with a large frame. They're talking about how he can probably put on more muscle, more weight. Although he's already 220, do we really want him to put on more weight? And considering how there's talk about how he's slower than people think he is? Well, if you look at the game film, the speed does not look like an issue. And we'll talk about various traits he has as we go along here that kind of make up for the fact that he had a slowerish 40 time. He's versatility to play in any scheme, which I think it really fits in with the Vikings transition into a 3-4, that they're going to have multiple fronts, they say, but in the safety position, he's a great matchup against the tight end at 6'4", and he has longer arms at 33 inches. In pretty decent sized hands. So this guy is a ball player. Football intelligence, this guy, it looks like he does this film study. He shows anticipation of where the play is going, and he gets there. He's a ball hawk. Wide receivers need to have their head on a swivel. Although he's not a headhunter and he's not a big hitter, let's say like Harrison Smith is, that maybe caused them to get some penalties and even kicked out of games at times. So I think he fits in with the modern NFL with all the rules they currently have. But if they make the catch, he's going to go through the wide receiver and hopefully jar loose the ball. He's a fluid defender. It just is a body style. You can tell he doesn't have tight hips. He's a very fluid defender. Size on he has the size to press cover, elite tight ends. It's, we'll see when he gets in the NFL, but size-wise, he has the ability. And again, he has a 38-inch vert, so his height and red zone, lob balls or fade patterns or, corner routes, he has the ability and the physical ability to get to those balls. He recognizes throws and takes good angles. You'll see on a lot of his tape is that he does take the right angle on the play, and he does pick off some balls and break up some passes. He makes the tackle. If the corner gets beat, he takes the right angle, and it has the leg length. He has long strides. He has recovery speed. He doesn't look like a slow player when he plays. He has game speed. So there's a lot to be said, and I'm going to harp on that because they say he's slower than what is, 4.7 40. He would have been ranked as one of the worst running safeties, even though he's ranked as the highest safety and by a far margin in the rankings. Now, the length and size overwhelms pass catchers on contested balls. So if he's going up think of how many 6'4" receivers are out there. They're starting to get more of those, but that's not the norm yet. He is just size, his arm length, his leaping ability. He's going to match up with wide receivers very well. He can play along the line and he attacks downhill. Just seeing him play coming up in the box, and the running back or just he reads the play and he reacts and he goes downhill and he wraps up. He takes down running backs as they're coming out of the backfield. So I feel like he could play up at the line. And I'm going to talk about this because Harrison Smith is starting to reach the end of his life in the NFL. He has developed a consistent tackler. I just talked about that. Anticipates well with no hesitation. Like I said, he seems to be able to read the play fairly quickly and not hesitate to go make the play. So there's a lot of good things about Kyle Hamilton. He's just not a player you want to pass up at 12, but we'll see. There might be so many players available that the Vikings like that they may want to trade down, get the draft capital they need, and then take one of many players that they like. You just don't know. Vikings are pretty, holding things pretty close to the vest. There's talk about them getting a wide receiver. And that's one of the podcasts that I already did is about how would the Vikings take a wide receiver. They did it once with Reed and Carter when they took Randy Moss. Why not take him now? Take a wide receiver. There's plenty of good ones out there and some elite ones that are going to go at around pick 12 or before. So there are some talent out there. And what I brought up with wide receivers is because of cap situations and contract situations, with Thielen being a $19 million cap hit, and then the receiver contracts being in the $25 or better million for a Justin Jefferson type player. So the fact that you'd get a wide receiver anticipating that, situation pretty similar at safety. Harrison Smith, although he signed a contract or he restructured his contract where he's in a $7.5 million cap hit this year for 2022, but he's 19, and 22 million cap hit in the following 3 years with dead cap of 12, 8, and 4. So Harrison Smith is he may last one more year, but are we really going to take a $19 million cap hit? Are we going to risk losing Justin Jefferson? The Vikings can take a safety, lower our cap hit on our safety position by a lot of money to free up that cap space to sign a Justin Jefferson. So if there's a trade, a cut, a restructure to where he's maybe cheap again for one more year, but then we can't take the hit any longer, especially with wide receivers making so much money, and Jefferson's going to cash in. There's been 3 wide receivers that recently are holding out to get bigger contracts and not accepting, and one's not, Deebo Samuel's not accepting $19 million a year. Why? When wide receivers are making 25 now. So he's asking for a trade. That's the situation we're looking at, because after this year, Justin Jefferson in 2023 is going to be eligible. So we need the cap space to sign him if that's our priority. And one of those things is signing a safety or drafting a safety like Kyle Hamilton that could be on the team for 5 years in a really low, rookie deal that will free up money for other players like a Justin Jefferson. So it would be smart. Now, where are we depth-wise? Well, Cameron Bynum has showed that he could play safety. And when the time where he played Baltimore, He started against Baltimore because Harrison Smith was on the COVID list. He balled out and got an awesome a diving interception. He really showed that he could play safety. Now, he was a 4.59 guy, too, coming out of college, and that's why we switched him from corner to safety. He's 6 foot, he's 200 pounds. His contracts goes through 2024. It's about $1 million a year for the next 3 years. So he's a good value. Now, throw in Hamilton, also at a good value contract. Now we don't have a whole lot of money tied up at safety. I love Harrison Smith. He's one of my favorite players. I do not want to see him go. But if seeing him go means we got a great replacement and Justin Jefferson still on our team, that makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, my heart is there for Harrison Smith, but my heart is there for getting a Super Bowl trophy, and I think we'll have a better chance with Justin Jefferson on the team. Now, Josh Metellus, he'll be an unrestricted free agent in 2024. He's 5'11", 207 pounds, and honestly a very good player. Well, he's a good player. He can play in the NFL. He's a pretty good tackler. He's 5'11", so he's undersized compared to Harrison Smith. Now, Miles Dorn's intriguing. He was an undrafted free agent. He's 6'2", 210 pounds. He's going to be a restricted free agent in 2024. I would like to see this guy get his chance and see what he's got in the offseason and in preseason. And who knows? Maybe they like him in OTAs, and then we don't need to draft a safety like Hamilton. But the opportunity might be there. I'm made my case for going wide receiver. I've made my case for going safety. They both make sense to me because of the contract situations with our starters. What do you think? Now, this is Minnesota Sports Talk. Thank you for listening. If you lasted this long, please hit like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at SkullWorld and at MN Sports Podcast. Have a great day. I look forward to speaking to you again, and see you the next time.